So you just got back from seeing the new Screen Life mystery thriller by the name of Missing. Now this film had so many crazy twists and turns and major reveals, which we'll be discussing, as well as explaining the ending in today's video. But before we get into all those fun topics, let's start the conversation in the comments below. Let me know what you all thought about those twists and turns. Were they predictable? Did you not enjoy them? Did you not see them coming? And how did you all feel about the ending of the film? Did it work? Did it not work? And if you all enjoyed today's commentary today, make sure you all are hitting that thumbs up as well as sharing this video. And if you want to get my full thoughts on this film, you can check out my review and see what score I gave it by clicking the link in the description of this video. With all that being said, let's get into the breakdown. Full spoilers ahead. To begin, let's start off by what happened to Grace Allen, as well as answering the question, who is Grace Allen? We opened the film on April 13, 2008, as we're introduced to a young June playing with a camcorder with her father, James, who we're led to believe is sick due to him having a nosebleed. Shortly followed up with a scene showing Grace seamlessly deleting all her accounts online and listening to voicemails from family and friends saying that they're sorry to have heard what had happened and they're going to be missed. Now, as an audience member, we're led to believe that James has passed away, but we'll be talking about James a little bit later. Fast forward to present day, we see June is now 18 years old, and her mother is headed on vacation with her new boyfriend by the name of Kevin, who seems to be a good guy. But immediately, I had to know, how did Kevin manage to pull someone as beautiful as Nia Long? Now, I'm just kidding. Not really. But let's get into this relationship. Grace is 43 years old. She's a single mother, and she's looking for a partner in life, and most likely interested in someone who she can connect with on an emotional level and bond with, and Kevin seems to check off all the boxes. But it's important to note, he knew all the right things to say to her because Kevin knew someone very close to Grace, and he even knew her favorite band was New Edition. Now, how did he possibly know that? Well, he knows her ex, which we'll save that a little bit later. As Grace and Kevin are leaving, I thought it was very interesting that Kevin appeared to have wanted to tell June something very important. Now, was he going to mention something about June's father? Or was he going to just tell her that he wanted her blessings in marrying her mother? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I personally think he was just going to see if he can get the blessing from June on proposing to her mom. But let's talk about that in the comments. But things seem to be going great as June is partying away while her mom's on vacation. And her mom is sending text messages letting her know that everything's okay. But that to me was our first red flag, because very early on, the film establishes how much Grace likes to check in with June, and there's no way that she would have been so vague and just leaving her text messages on her boyfriend's phone. So to me, that was red flag number one. Now, after not arriving to the airport as planned, June knows that something is wrong, and this is where the film gets its first suspect, and that is Kevin. June uncovers his past as she hacks into his email as well as looking into the dating app in which they first met, and she learns that Kevin has a past. Kevin has actually spent some time in jail because he used to be a scammer, and he has a history in scamming women in particular. We see June get some help from Javier in Colombia as well as FBI agent Park. We see that Kevin and Grace are kidnapped and is held ransom. But as June looks into those messages from her mother, she finds out that it wasn't her mother on vacation. Instead, it was a hired actress. Now, that was one of the biggest reveals to me. Let me know what you all thought about that moment in the film in the comments below. Kevin is now the prime suspect and now best friend of Grace, and the lawyer, Heather, is found to be in connection with Kevin, but after being murdered, we learn that she was trying to protect June, but also keeping Grace's true identity a secret, as we learn that she previously went by the name of Sarah. So now it's believed that Grace, aka Sarah, has staged this whole thing, but things get even more complicated once we see Kevin is killed by the police by not listening to their orders, and now it's back to square one. Where is Grace, and how is this in connection to her past as Sarah? Now, after starting to lose hope, we see June gives it one more try to get into her mother's email, and she decides to use the nickname she was given, which is Junebug, and she connects a blocked email to Kevin's account and finds a cryptic website in which we see Kevin was in connection with a mysterious person. We learn that that same person has had security cameras set up and all put together by Kevin, including the plans with Grace, as June pieces the location of that camera to the same same location that she grew up in as a kid. Now, knock knock at the door. Pretending earlier to be a sponsor of Kevin's recovery from prison, it is revealed that it is James, aka June's father. Now, me personally, I had a feeling that he was alive this whole time, and that's because I'm always a believer that if we don't see a funeral or if we don't see a body, that person's still alive. Let me know if you all were surprised that James was still alive in the comments below. Now, he explains that he never died and he was looking for her, but her mother made up his death because Grace, aka Sarah, never wanted him to be in her life because she was so controlling, and she has this side that June doesn't know because her mother is capable of doing terrible things. But he slips up about his time in prison, and June realizes that James and Kevin were cellmates and that they came up with this plan together. James takes June against her own will and takes her back to the old house where Sarah is located, and this is where we learn that James was actually an abusive husband and sold drugs. Sarah calls the police on James, and this explains where he's been this whole time, but also explains the reason why she had to change her name to Grace, and also explains the relation between her and Heather, the lawyer, who helps people in these difficult situations. Going back to that opening scene, this now makes more sense that she was leaving an abusive relationship versus her husband actually dying. Now, wrapping up the movie, we see James is spiraling completely out of control. He shoots Grace in the stomach, but she manages to stab him in the neck. He leaves the room, locks them in that same room, and he dies. He's leaving Grace to die, but we get such a great callback as we see Grace was someone that used Siri for everything.
Siri, call June.
Mom, this is FaceTime.
Oh, gosh.
June looks at the camera, sees her phone, has Siri call 911. We get a happy ending with the mother and daughter. We see Javier is back in touch with his son, but R.I.P. to Heather. I thought the ending, if I'm being honest, was a little bit ridiculous, but I do like how it was all set up, and I like how it all ties back to the mother and daughter coming back together. So that is Missing, and explaining the film and explaining the ending. Again, let me know in the comments, what did you all think about all those twists and turns? What did you all think about the ending? Let's talk about that in the comments below. Thank you all for watching today's video. Before you leave, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. You all are awesome. Hope you're staying safe. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my review for this film. Check out my other content, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.